You're doing something that you don't want to do, so you want to postpone it. I'm asking, why the hell are you doing something that you don't want to do? Even if you're put through the most horrible situations, either you can come out using that experience as a better human being, or you can use the experience to become a horrible mess. Nobody can cause mental pain to you. It is you, in reaction to something that happens around you, that you cause pain to yourself.
Need motivation?
Watch your Top 10 with Belief Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
He's Sadhguru, and here's my take on his Top 10 Rules of Success, Volume 5. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Do what you want.
See, if you're postponing something, you're obviously doing something that you don't want to do. If there is something that you really want to do, will you postpone it or prepone it? Hello? Do you see somebody is waiting for someone they badly want to see? Only 10 minutes. In the 10 minutes, they will look at the watch 25 times. Why? They want to prepone it. You're doing something that you don't want to do, so you want to postpone it. I'm asking, why the hell are you doing something that you don't want to do? No, because if I do this, I will get that, I will get that. That's not the point. There's nothing to get in this life. There's really nothing to get in this life. Either you lived this life in a profound and intense manner, or you did not. What will you get in the end? Huh? If somebody dies in the agricultural college, do they bury them or fire them? How is it? What's the tradition? Burying is good for agriculture, because human beings make good manure. So in the end, what will happen to you and me? They will either bury us or burn us. That's all will happen in the end. You think something else, they'll give you a prize? Nothing will happen in the end. Only thing is the process of life. How wonderfully did you live? That's all there is. So if you are doing something really wonderful, do you want to prepone it or postpone it? Huh? Prepone only. So you must find what is it that you really want to do. If you find that one thing, you will always prepone everything, not postpone.
Rule number 2, become wise.
This happened in 1941. This is just when the Nazi movement was building up in Germany and in some parts of Europe. So one day in Austria, a bunch of German soldiers came, broke into the homes, the Jewish family, a rich family, they broke the home and took away the adults, everything was robbed. And these two children, a 12-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy were taken away. They were taken to a railway station. This is the month of November end, December kind of time, when it's becoming very cold. So they were kept in the railway station for 3 days because the trains did not come. Boys, little boys being boys, they started playing football. So they were playing football and then suddenly the train came. The train is not a passenger train, it's a cargo train, the goods train. So when the train came, the soldiers came and rushed everybody into the wagons which are there. Everybody got in and the little boy and the girl also got in, but the little boy forgot to wear his shoes. He left his shoes outside and they pushed him into the wagon. So without shoes he came. His sister, a 12-year-old girl, saw her kid brother coming without shoes and she got mad with him. She held him by the ear, boxed his ears, scolded him nicely, slapped him. She said, "You idiot, already we are in enough trouble, now you come without shoes." Because in Germany in winter, no shoes means you may lose your feet. So she's angry about that. In the next station, the boys and girls were separated. After 4 years, after the war was over, she came out of the concentration camp to find 17 members of her family, including her little brother, all had vanished. No records, no sign of them, they just evaporated. At that time, the only thing that bothered her was the last few things that she said to her little brother. She loves her brother, but the last few things that she said to him were such terrible things, it rang in her mind and troubled her. These are the last things I told my brother, and after that I'm never going to see him, he's gone. So she took a vow, if I speak to anybody in my life, I will speak in such a way, if this is my last word, I will not regret. This one thing transformed her life in such a way. She went on to United States, she died in 2006. She did some phenomenal work, built a hospital somewhere near Chicago, I think. She lived a fruitful life. I'm saying, even if you're put through the most horrible situations, either you can come out using that experience as a better human being, or you can use the experience to become a horrible mess. So whenever something hurts you, there are two options. You can either become wounded or you can become wise. This is the choice. The more things hurt you early on in your life, the wiser you should have become, isn't it? But unfortunately, most people become wounded. This is simply because they just need an excuse to turn their own intelligence against themselves, that's all. Especially if the world around you turns against you, is it not very, very important that your intelligence stands up for you?
Rule number 3, control your mind.
Around us, so many people will do so many things that we don't like. Yes or no? So many things in Mumbai happening, things that we don't like are every day happening. But at least within you, only what you want should happen within this, isn't it? Huh? I cannot decide that only what I want should happen with you, but I can definitely decide only what I want must happen within me, isn't it? If you could decide only what you want should happen within you, would you choose anger or joy? What's your choice? Please choose, I'm going to bless you. See, you want the highest level of pleasantness for yourself, isn't it? Then why is such a thing not happening? As I said earlier, you never read the user's manual. How this functions has not been looked at. Do not go by the example of people who came here a few years earlier than you. That, no, my mother also was like that, my grandmother also was getting angry, so I am also getting angry. They should not be the leading lights of your life. I want you to look at it. Your thought, your emotion, your body must happen the way you want, isn't it? Huh? If somebody else can decide what should happen within you, this is ultimate slavery, isn't it so? What happens around you, maybe we can decide, but nobody should decide except yourself what happens within you. If you decide, you would keep this in the high state of pleasantness for sure. You wouldn't be battling with anger. It's not just about anger, fear, stress, tension, don't address them separately. Essentially, your mind is not taking instructions from you. Why? Because you don't know where the damn keyboard is. Yet, we gave you a supercomputer, you do not know where the keyboard is. So one day you did this, something worked, another day you did this, something worked. You know, have you seen people, the radio doesn't work, boom, and it works sometimes. That's not a technology, that's chance. Have you seen this? If something doesn't work, people think, tap, 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 it'll work. And a lot of people are using this for human beings also.
Rule number 4, work on your own well-being.
The fear of suffering is not just about pain, the fear of suffering is self-inflicted. Nobody can cause mental pain to you. It is you, in reaction to something that happens around you, that you cause pain to yourself. If you have half your brain removed, then you would see, you would be quite peaceful. Right now, people are going through stress, anxiety, depression, misery, all kinds of things. You can give it any number of exotic names that you want, but essentially, their intelligence is turned against them, that's all it is. Once your intelligence is against you, there is no force on the planet or anywhere which can save you. So the fundamental thing is to bring this, that all the faculties that we have should work for our well-being. Right now, our own body, our own mind, our own emotions are working against us. This one thing has to be fixed. This is the mission.
Also, if you want to learn how to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. The link is free and it's in the description below.
It's easy to make a buck, very hard to make a difference.
To make changes in any organization, you have to have a measure of very high persistency.
You have to work with people where you feel a bit insecure, right? That's essential because that means you're working with people who are better than you.
Rule number 5, study your opponent.
This happened in the year 98-99. Andre Agassi and Boris Becker played 3 games. All Boris Becker beat Andre Agassi because he had such a… he was called Boom Boom because… Boris Becker was called Boom Boom because of the service. His serves were so powerful, there was no game. Every time he will serve and finish the game. Nobody returns the ball. So, Andre Agassi went back and studied hundreds of hours of Boris Becker's serves. Then he figured it out. Then in the next 3 years, he played 11 games with him and beat him on 10 of them. And I'll tell you what happened. After Boris Becker retired, they met in Germany, there's something called the Oktoberfest in Germany, they were there. And at that time, they were together and Andre Agassi thought, okay, anyway, he's retired, now I can tell him. Because this bothered Boris Becker big time, nobody can beat him, but this guy's getting at him. So he told him, see, I observed your videos continuously and I figured out that whenever you're serving the ball towards the boundary line, Boris Becker, if you know, when he's serving, his tongue sticks out a little bit. When he throws the ball up and comes down, his tongue sticks out. He said, whenever you're serving towards the boundary line, your tongue goes to the left. When you're serving straight, it comes out straight. I observed this, the moment your tongue sticks out to the boundary line, I was already there every time taking the ball. So, Boris Becker literally fell off his chair, he couldn't believe this. And he said, any number of times I went home after the matches and I told my wife, he seems to be reading my mind. But you've been reading my tongue. It's almost spoken. So, your opponent should be never unfamiliar to you. You must make him familiar. You must know him better than he knows himself.
Rule number 6, make life better.
Just to give a little bit of context, we saw the video of Sadhguruji running on Himalayas, playing football, playing cricket. So sir, in that context, how to keep yourself on the go all the time?
On the go. You don't have to be on the go all the time. If life demands, people ask me, Sadhguru, how are you active like this? Because generally my schedule is anywhere between 18 to 20 hours a day, 7 days of the week, 365 days, non-stop. For many years it's going on. Why? I'm complaining and the guy's clapping about it. So people keep asking, how do you keep yourself like this? How do you do this? See, I'm essentially lazy. It's just that the situation in the world demands action. Left to myself, I would close my eyes and simply sit. I'm made like this, if I close my eyes, I can sit like this till I fall dead. Really. I have really no need for action, I'm not trying to keep myself busy. There's a lot to be done, so you're doing. People ask me, Sadhguru, what's your dream? What is your dream? I said, my dream is the day I'm unemployed, that's a great day. Because if I'm unemployed, it simply means everybody is doing fantastic. What more do you want? Dream fulfilled. So, action is not something that you decide. You just decide your intent. Action, the world will decide how much of what. I'm, at these economic forums and stuff, I'm at the World Economic Forum. This guy from one of the business schools in Harvard Business School, one professor comes, "Oh, you're that amazing tree planter." I said, "No, I'm not a tree planter." He said, "No, you planted those millions of trees." "Yes, I did, but I'm not a tree planter." Asked me, "Then what do you do?" I said, I make people flower. Not plant trees, but I'm planting trees because the goddamn trees are missing where they should have been. Where they should have been, they're not there. It's like this, two men were working on the street. One man is digging pits, behind him another man is coming and closing and going. Somebody else was driving by, they saw this ridiculous activity. One guy digs the pit, another guy closes the pit. So they stopped and said, "Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you guys working like this? One guy digging, another guy closing." They said, no, the in-between guy has gone on leave, he's the tree planter. He's not there, we're doing our work. So lot of people are doing work like this, I'm doing my work. You have no work on this planet. If the planet needs work, if the world needs work, we will do it. Otherwise, why should I think this is my work? "Sadhguru, what's your mission?" I said, "No mission, I'm just fooling around a bit." Because you have no business to have your own mission. Life has its own mission. In some way, if you can assist and serve that, that's about it. What is it that you have your own mission? Are you some kind of a tyrant? All missionaries are tyrants in some way, unknowingly. Yes, those who think they have a mission. There is no mission. What is needed you do, especially when you study in a business school and get certain competence to manage things or create things. You must create what is needed, not create some rubbish and push it on them. Yes? Yes or no? Yes. You must see how to make life better, how to solve situations which are problematic to a whole lot of people. You must look for solutions and solutions for the existing situations. And of course, there are experts who go on creating new problems. So you will never be short of problems, believe me. You just have to create solutions, not go on a mission mode. That's for Mussolini.
Rule number 7, take control of your life.
What people are generally calling as destiny is essentially what they end up creating unconsciously. When I say unconsciously, as you sit here right now, as everybody sits here right now, there is physical activity going on within the system. There is mental process, there is emotional activity, and of course the life energies are active. Every moment, they are taking in hundreds of inputs, whether you're conscious or not conscious. So if I ask you a question, since this morning, from the time you woke up till now, of these 4 dimensions of activity, how much have you conducted consciously? What percentage do you think?
Few things.
How much percentage do you think?
25%.
You are very generous, man. It's well below 1%. If you walk from there to there, there'll be 25 different kind of smells that you're not conscious of, but the body registers and records. There are 100 different kinds of sounds that the body registers that you're not conscious of. Like this throughout the day and night, in wakefulness and sleep, this is happening. When you are only conscious of less than 1% of your activity, definitely life will look like an accident. Hello? When 99% of the things that you're doing unconsciously, definitely life will look accidental. If the accident… See, it is so happened, somebody fell off on the street and had a brain injury, after that suddenly they started working their mathematics in a wonderful way. But that was only one. 1,000 other people who cracked their skull never recovered from that, or they died, or those who lived on much diminished. So, being accidentally fortunate is not the way to exist. So, whenever a pleasant accident happens, we say it's destiny. Some of you even say, God doing things to me. When did you make a partnership with him? I don't know. So, shall I tell you a story? Are you okay? This happened. Sherlock Holmes, you know Sherlock Holmes? And Watson went out camping, and early morning, 3:30 a.m., Sherlock Holmes nudged Watson. He opened his eyes, "What? What do you see?" he asked. "Well, I see a clear sky and stars." "What does it mean to you?" He said, "Well, that means tomorrow is going to be a wonderful sunny day." Then he asked, "What does it mean to you?" He said, "It means someone has stolen our tent." So, we don't know what went missing, and something may fall here and there by chance, but that's not the way life works. If a human being doesn't take it upon himself or herself to make their own destiny, they're still having an evolutionary problem. That is, they're still not yet fully there. Because being human means this, that we can conduct our life consciously. Being human means this, that we can craft our life the way we want. But this destiny business is a good insurance to handle your failure. Whenever you fail, destiny, it's God's will.
Rule number 8, become the best version of yourself.
Just because somebody is successful, this doesn't mean they've figured out everything. This doesn't mean they're at ease with life. This doesn't mean their life is in some way fulfilled. No, because today our idea of success is just doing little better than somebody else. You doing little better than somebody else means, and you're very happy about that, what it means is you're actually enjoying other people's failures. If somebody enjoys another person's failure, I call that sickness, not success. What do you call it? Hello? I enjoy that you failed. This is sickness, this is not success, isn't it? Unfortunately, this is how you're going. This is the reason why human potential is not unleashed. Because if you're racing with a lame person, you're just happy you're one step ahead of him. Only when you meet Mr. Bolt, you understand who the hell you are. Yes? Till then, you think you are a great runner because the other person doesn't have legs.
Rule number 9, don't fear suffering.
You did this activity where to get us awake and energized, you had us close our eyes and you counted to 3, and then we had to yell, lose our inhibitions and let it all out. And that idea of kind of losing control and losing inhibitions, for me personally, has actually been a challenge. And I was hoping to get your perspective. I have never done drugs because I don't want to lose control. I fight roller coasters because I don't like losing control of the body.
Am I supposed to believe all this?
I'm excited for your perspective. I don't know why it came up, because last night I did my best, but it's always been a challenge or a struggle for me, and I'm just curious to get your perspective.
Nature has imposed substantial amount of restrictions on life. You can't just zoom off into the space. There is enough restrictions. You don't have to invent your own restrictions on top of it. So if you invent your own restrictions, slowly over a period of time, you become a constipated life. That means life won't happen easy. It happens in small happenings. So being in a state of abandon, not out of control, being in a state of abandon means all the stops that you have put on yourself, you pulled it off. Nature stops are still there for your safety and your well-being. But why are you imposing stops? There's enough, gravity is holding you down, that's bad enough. Now you want to hold yourself down, why? Because fear. What is the fear about? The fear is always about, if I do this, I may suffer. So that is the fundamental of my work, to bring you to a place where there's no fear of suffering.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is get drunk on life.
So what's the secret behind your success?
As a child, did you blow soap bubbles? Soap bubbles. So when you blew soap bubbles, have you seen somebody got this big bubble, you got only this big bubble?
We must hold our breath and leave it slow, then we'd get a big bubble. Everything has…
Everybody had air in the lungs, but somebody got a big bubble, somebody got a small bubble. What is this about? See, when it comes to body, this is my body, that is your body, 100% clear, no confusion about this, isn't it? This is my body, that is your body. This is my mind, that is your mind. But when it comes to life, there is no such thing as my life and your life. This is a living cosmos. How much life will you capture within your system will determine the size and scope of your life. Somebody got a big bubble, somebody else got a small bubble. Poop, it went off. You cannot identify where is my air and where is your air, isn't it? So similarly, when it comes to life, there is no such thing as my life and your life, but distinctly my body and your body, my mind and your mind, but no my life and your life. There is life, abundant life. This is a living cosmos. How much life will you capture within yourself will determine the scope and range of your life. What one person can do in 100 years, somebody may do it in 10 years. Because of the sheer intensity of life. When I say intensity of life, it may translate in many different ways. See, there are times, for example, certain businesses have grown. Let us say, some business like, in United States this become a fad, within 3 years somebody is billions of dollars of worth of business. Let us say Microsoft has grown or Facebook has grown or something like this has grown. This is largely because of technological breakthroughs and somebody rides that technology. At another time, that would not have happened. So that is different. But if you want to create something really large, really significant, large or small is not the point, significance, then you need intensity of life. One thing is the scale of life that you capture. This is what I said earlier when I said yoga, obliterating in boundaries of your individuality means, in a way, you are allowing universe to invade you. When universe is not against you, but it invades you or it's a part of you, then you have abundance of life. When you have abundance of life, you will not hesitate to share. When you share big time your life with everybody else, people will naturally value it immensely because everybody is trying to hoard it, somebody is willing to share it, so naturally there'll be a big upsurge around you. This will lead to many things. This will make many friends and many enemies. A lot of people whom you have never met, they are your sworn enemies, but you don't know why. You never met them, you never had a word with them, but they are swearing that I am his enemy. I don't know why, but it goes on in the world. So when we talk about how so much can be done in a short span of time, it's not a short span of time, it's 37 years. Incessant work, 7 days of the week, 20 hours a day, almost for 25 years, more than 25 years. On an average, I slept only for 2.5 hours a day. Not deprived of sleep, just kept my life energy so intense that sleep was not even an issue. There are times when I've gone without sleep for 3 days, 4 days, full-scale working. Not because you're on some kind of a drug and not sleeping, simply because of the intensity of purpose and commitment to what you're doing. Today I can proudly say, I have created thousands of people around me. All of them have gotten crazy like that. They're all beginning to work like this. Most of them, you don't know when they will sleep, when they will wake up, on, 7 days of the week. No holidays, no vacations, but everybody is joyful. If you come to the yoga center and see, you will see the most joyful faces. But they've never been on a vacation. They don't own a damn thing. They don't have money in their pockets, but they're just joyful because drunk with life, literally.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Sadhguru on how to not live life too early that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1, where do you need to take control of your life? Number 2, what suffering do you need to stop fearing? And number 3, how can you get drunk on life this week?
In India, the mango farmers have some wisdom in them like this. I've been a mango farmer in the past. Just after 12-14 months after planting, if it's a well-grafted plant, within 14 months, flowers will come when the season comes. First thing we do is we'll pluck off the flowers. If you leave it, a few mangoes will come, but we will take it off. Next season again the flowers come, we'll take it off. We will wait for the plant to grow because we know if the fruit comes out of that plant will never grow into a full-fledged tree. It will not bear as much fruit as it could if it bears too early. So this is something youth must remember. Don't try to live too early. This is the time where you build yourself. In body, in mind, in competence, in capability, you build yourself. Time to live will come. If you live too early, then you will see you will not live a full-fledged life. So right now, we have imported this from Western societies. By the time you're 14, you must have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. By the time you're 18, you have had 3 heartbreaks. Where the hell are you focusing on building yourself? These things are taking so much time and energy. Build yourself up well if you want to live well. So, there is a certain time to grow and there's a certain time to live. If you live too early, you will not grow. And if you don't grow, the scale and scope of your life will be very limited.
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.